The moment I saw him, time seemed to stop. There was only one thought in my mind. This is my destiny. A loud, annoying scream snapped me back to reality. My destiny was being chased by the police. I had to help him escape.
You crazy woman! Why did you suddenly run into the street and block our way? Do you even know we're on an important mission?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Good thing he managed to get away. Otherwise, I might have accidentally stomped on that officer's face a few more times. Since I was little, I've always had a special fascination with serial killers and shocking murder cases. I saw them as extraordinary people rather than just criminals. And the man I met this morning, he was the perfect Joker I had been searching for. Strong, reckless, but also deeply lonely. I hacked into the state police security system, and sure enough, I found my man. Jason, 25 years old, a record of drug dealing, assault, theft, a high-priority surveillance target. Just as I was about to dig deeper into his information, he appeared on the latest news broadcast.
I just wanted to kill. If I could do it all over again, I'd still crush that stupid woman and turn her into spaghetti sauce under my car tires.
I found him a little late, but that's okay. At least he'll be staying in one place for now. Wait for me, Jason. I'll be the one to save you. I believe this world is full of people who deserve to die, and someone like Jason is simply cleaning up the useless ones. I shared my thoughts on social media, along with details about Jason's tragic past, his abusive parents, his suffering, and to my surprise, many people supported me. Every day, I sent letters to Jason in prison, along with photos of my hands, carved with his name, Jason. I truly believed that if Jason chose me instead of those other women, he wouldn't have to suffer anymore. He wouldn't need to kill to ease his rage, because I would give him everything, even my soul. After more than a month of writing letters, I finally received a response from the prison warden. Jason wanted to see me. Standing in front of the prison visitation room, my heart pounded with excitement. I was about to meet my man. Jason sat there arrogantly behind the thick bulletproof glass, the tattoo of a clown's grin stretching across his face, mocking the world. I couldn't control my overwhelming joy. I instinctively dropped to my knees before him. Jason, it's me, Evelyn.
Yeah, I know. You're pretty bold. Carving my name into your skin like that. Did it hurt?
Do you like it?
So if I say I like it, you won't feel the pain anymore? Then what if I say I want to get the hell out of this prison? Would you help me?
Of course. I've already prepared everything. I'm just waiting to see if you have the guts to go through with it.
You're interesting. Maybe we can take this further.
Ever since Jason was arrested, I had been carefully planning his escape. There was no way I would let my man rot away and face the death penalty so easily. But for this plan to work, I needed his cooperation and his fearlessness. That night, I posted a tweet calling on Jason's fan club to dress up as Harley Quinn and cause chaos near the prison. Meanwhile, I arranged for an ambulance to be on standby. During the commotion, we would slip inside and smuggle Jason out under the guise of a suicide emergency. The ambulance driver was a veteran member of Jason's fan club. She was the one who provided me with a microblade, but I still had to double-check her ID. Harley Quinn real?
That's right, let's go get our Joker.
Everything went according to plan. We entered the prison without a hitch. Time to pick up our Joker. I saw him again. Even though I had expected him to be injured, seeing him unconscious on the stretcher still made my heart ache. Only one person can come in the ambulance. It's tight inside. We need space for the patient to breathe. With Jason loaded into the ambulance and only one prison guard accompanying us, we started our escape. You're tougher than I thought. That cut was less than an inch from your artery.
Gotta be crazy enough if you want people to go crazy for me.
I was still pondering Jason's cryptic words when... bang! A gunshot shattered the air. The ambulance screeched to a sudden stop, throwing me off balance. The prison guard took the bullet and collapsed right before my eyes. I had planned to take care of him quietly, but my so-called ally turned out to be way more unhinged than I expected. And the craziest part? She had the audacity to kiss Jason right in front of me. Her eyes gleamed with a twisted challenge, as if to say she was the real Harley Quinn, the only one worthy of standing beside Joker. My mind exploded in rage. I wanted to kill that woman right there and then.
You're being naughty, sweetheart. You want to fight my Harley?
The lack of oxygen made my head spin. I couldn't even process his words properly. Before I knew it, I was shoved violently out of the ambulance. Was he mad at me? Just because I was jealous of that fake Harley Quinn? Jason, I'm sorry, I'll listen to you, I swear, just don't leave me. I begged, desperate, but Jason didn't care. After everything I had done for him, he still saw me as nothing but prey. Panic surged through me as I lunged toward the road. The ambulance swerved, nearly grazing my back like the blade of a guillotine. I gasped, whipping my head around. The dark forest stretched endlessly around me, silent, empty. It was just me and those two bloodthirsty killers. I was going to die, to be nothing more than spaghetti sauce under Jason's wheels. But then, bang, bang, bang! A barrage of gunfire erupted, forcing the two murderers to retreat. Police sirens screamed through the air. Jason and his new Harley had no choice but to run. My body went limp. My heart pounded so violently it hurt. I couldn't even tell what I was feeling anymore. Pain, excitement, satisfaction, or maybe emptiness? My Joker. He just vanished before my eyes.
Her mental state is extremely unstable. She frequently engages in self-harm and experiences hallucinations. For now, she needs to stay in the hospital.
I am Harley Quinn. Only Joker is worthy of me.
I never thought there was anything wrong with the way I loved him. While others called it obsession or delusion, I saw it as something pure. Devotion. Not just the kind that cheers in crowds or collects photo cards, but the kind that longs to know everything. The kind that wants to get close. Min-jae had always been the perfect idol. His voice was soft, his eyes tender, and the way he smiled at his fans made you feel like you mattered. I clung to that illusion, because to me, it was never an illusion. I believed, truly believed, that if I stayed close enough, watched long enough, loved him hard enough, he would see me. The distance between us would dissolve. That's why I became a Sasaeng. Not to hurt him, not to cross some moral line. I only wanted to be someone who knew him better than anyone else. I wanted to slip between the folds of his public life and settle into the spaces where no one else had reached. At the fan meeting, I handed him the gift I made, a soft white teddy bear, stitched carefully by hand. He smiled as he took it from me, eyes crinkling the way they always did when he wanted to seem sincere. I know you collect bears. I made this one myself, just for you. He thanked me, unaware that hidden just beneath the bear's eyes was a small, silent camera, one that would quietly reveal the life I longed to be a part of. After that, I watched him every night. The bear sat neatly on a shelf in his living room, among dozens of others, but mine always faced the center. Through that tiny lens, I saw fragments of his private world. Min-jae entering his apartment, setting down his bag, stretching his arms with a tired sigh. He'd hum sometimes, pour a drink, say a few soft words on the phone before slipping into silence again. And I watched, eyes wide, heart full. I would fall asleep to the sound of his voice echoing through my speakers, my dreams warm and filled with the illusion of proximity. Then, one day, a message appeared in the group chat. Min-jae was filming out of town and wouldn't return until late. My breath caught. His apartment would be empty for hours. I didn't even hesitate. I had memorized the building's security code from his hand movements, seen through the bear's lens. That night, I stood outside his door, my heart pounding, the hum of the hallway lights buzzing in my ears. I pressed the code. The lock clicked open. The air inside his home was clean. Detergent, citrus, cologne. I stepped in slowly, almost reverently. Everything was exactly as I imagined it. His shoes lined neatly, the soft creak of wood beneath my feet, the faint humming of the fridge. The teddy bear I made was still there, but the others surrounding it looked wrong up close. Their fur wasn't consistent. Some had patches of different colors, stitched together in uneven seams. One had what looked like strands of real hair woven above its ear. A chill touched my spine, but I told myself not to overthink. Everyone has strange habits. What mattered was that my bear was still intact, still watching. I opened the fridge, rearranged his drinks, left a bottle of his favorite yogurt. I touched his coats, pressed my face into his scarves. In the bathroom, I painted our names on the mirror using red lipstick. Yuri plus Minjae, with a little heart drawn beside it. And then I slipped into his bed. The sheets were cool and soft. For a while, I lay there quietly, imagining a version of life where this was normal, where I belonged here. Before I left, I slipped a small hand-stitched doll under the bed, a charm made to bind us together, to make him love me the way I loved him. Then I heard the door open. My breath caught. He wasn't supposed to be home yet, but instead of panic, I felt a strange rush. He was here. I would see him just for a moment, and then I'd go. I crept into the wardrobe and pulled the door almost closed, crouching low behind his clothes. Through the narrow slit, I saw him enter the bedroom. I felt my heart bloom. He liked it. He brought it with him. But then calmly, he reached under his pillow and pulled out a knife. Before I could react, he stabbed the bear, ripped it open. His fingers dug into the stuffing and pulled out the camera. He held it up to the light, studying it. Then he said,
"You're the one who gave me this at the fan meeting, aren't you?"
I froze. He poured himself a glass of wine, swirling it gently, and walked slowly across the room.
"I've always known someone was watching.
He said, eyes glancing toward the wardrobe.
It's a lovely feeling, being desired like that."
He walked straight to the wardrobe and pulled the door open. I didn't even get the chance to scream before everything slipped away, the world fading to black without a sound. When I woke, my arms and legs were bound to a metal chair. The room was cold and dim, the air thick with the stench of rot. I blinked slowly as my vision cleared, and then I saw them. Lining the shelves were teddy bears, but these weren't stitched from fabric. Their patchwork skin was unmistakably human, with strands of real hair still clinging to some of their heads. Blood had dried into the seams. The stitching was crude, careless. In front of me, a glass table held small parts, fingernails, teeth, clumps of hair, scraps of stained fabric. Folders were stacked beside them, each with photos of girls I recognized from online. Other fans like me, all of them missing. And then I heard his voice, soft and close behind me. Minjae stepped into the light, a scalpel glinting in his hand as he smiled gently, almost tenderly. Behind him, the wall was covered in Polaroids, Minjae smiling beside dozens of girls. But their eyes were empty, their faces lifeless. Blood-red hearts were drawn around some of them, crude and dripping. I screamed at him, called him a monster, told him he was fake. He only laughed.
"The version of me you adored, that's just a character. Something the company built. But you wanted to know the real me. Isn't that why you watched?"
He crouched down beside me and gently touched the cut on the back of my hand. Then slowly, He leaned in and licked the blood. And I finally understood. Minjae was never the one being watched. He wanted to be watched. He craved it. He fed off it. We weren't obsessed with him. He was obsessed with us. And now I was part of his collection. Forever. I am not rich, never have been, and probably never will be. But I know how to survive. That night, I went to the birthday party of some university rich kid whose name I can't even remember, wearing borrowed and patched up clothes. And cheap things don't last long. My shoe heel broke. I fell to the floor amidst the mocking laughter of the jerks around me. Some girl pointed at me and shrieked, as if I were the cheapest joke of the day. I stood up abruptly, threw away the broken shoe, and ran out of the party, barefoot, feeling humiliated and angry. The streets were cold and dirty, the sharp stones cutting into my bare feet, making them bleed. I ran with my head down, tears in my eyes, and bumped into a strange man. "Hey, are you blind?" I cursed at him without holding back, but he just glanced at me, his eyes so cold and sharp that I instinctively shut my mouth. The strange man walked away, unaware that the red shoe in his plastic bag had fallen out. I looked at the shoe as if I had seen my good fortune. My heart was pounding. I didn't care how he got it. All I knew was, I wanted that shoe. I picked it up, put it on. It fit perfectly. It felt like I became a different person. I simply thought it was a good item and took it home. I had a peaceful night, sleeping in my bed like a fancy lady with red shoes on, until the ringtone ruined my sweet dream. "Hello, this is Karen." What? Isabel was murdered. Isabel was a rich girl from my university class. She was supposed to come to the party last night, but she was kidnapped and cut into pieces. Her body was found chopped up by the side of the road. I had to attend her funeral. Well, it was also a good chance to get close to the upper class, right? The funeral was crowded, heavy with sadness. I stood quietly next to Isabel's parents, pretending to be a sweet friend who was heartbroken over her death. Suddenly, my feet started to feel hot, like some invisible force was pulling me forward. In the blink of an eye, I stumbled toward a man in the weirdest way. My dress flew up, showing off the bright red shoes. I could hear people whispering about my shoes, saying I was disrespectful. Embarrassed, I tried to stop my legs and stand straight. I pulled my dress down to cover the shoes, but they kept glowing red, still trying to move my feet. Was there really something wrong with them? After the funeral, I walked home alone. The shoes were quiet again, just like normal shoes. Then suddenly, the heat came back. The shoes woke up again. It felt like the shoes were getting stronger. They spun me around so hard I had to grab a street sign just to stay upright. I stomped my feet down as hard as I could, trying to stop them. I didn't care what they were. Whatever it was, they really pissed me off. I got home safely and entered the passcode to open the door. But those cursed shoes tried to control me again. I held onto the doorknob to keep my balance, trying to stay calm. But then I saw the reflection in the glass and realized the shoes were doing this for a reason. That strange man I bumped into last night. He was watching me. Now I could clearly see his face. It was Joe, the same guy I just saw at the funeral. A wave of fear rushed through me. I rushed inside and slammed the door shut. I dropped onto the chair and lifted my leg to take off the shoes, but they wouldn't come off. The harder I pulled, the tighter they got. Blood started leaking from my ankles. I screamed and grabbed my phone, trying to search for a way to remove the shoes. But just as I opened Google, the first news headline made my heart stop. That outfit, the man I saw last night and the one following me, it's him. My whole body went cold. Then, I heard the sound of someone entering the door code. The red shoes started dragging me toward the killer again. I had completely lost control of my legs. With all the hatred and determination I felt from the shoes, there was only one explanation. These shoes belonged to Isabel. And somehow, her soul had entered them, and she was trying to get revenge.
Karen, I know you're in there. Open the door.
No, please, don't hurt me. I don't know anything. If Isabel wants revenge, what does that have to do with me? I don't want to be silenced by that killer. I want to live. I completely gave up on using my legs. I dragged myself across the floor with my hands, fighting against the pull of the shoes. My hands hurt so much they went numb, but I couldn't stop. The killer was getting closer. I crawled to the mirror, pulled it down, and smashed it. I grabbed a shard of glass still stuck to a piece of wood. The shoes were still squeezing my feet, like they were trying to eat me alive. I had no choice. I had to tear these shoes off my body no matter what. The door burst open, and the red shoes, with my feet still inside, flew straight at the killer like a bullet. But Joe walked into the room without flinching. I saw him raise the axe, and the shoes, along with my bloody feet, were chopped into 4 pieces. I heard Isabel's voice, screaming in rage. I crawled backward, reaching out in despair. But Joe just walked toward me, dragging the axe across the floor. Screech! 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 I cried. I begged. I screamed for someone to save me. But no one came.
I stared blankly at my reflection in the mirror. Beautiful, alluring, like a Barbie doll. But that wasn't me.
Congratulations, my little doll, on being discharged from the hospital.
He is Yira, my fiancé, the one who pulled me out of my boring nurse life and designed a new, more perfect life for me according to his arrangement.
Brianna, what are you wearing?
Yira, it hurts.
From now on, get rid of these old-fashioned clothes.
I stared at Yira in shock as he coldly tore my clothes apart, ignoring my cries of pain. Under Yira's frenzied destruction, my dress was reduced to a skimpy outfit.
I spent a lot of money to give you a perfect body. Show it off. Let everyone admire it.
Pleased with his masterpiece, Yira smiled, snapped a selfie, ignoring my discomfort at the suggestive angle. I clutched the bouquet, desperately trying to cover my exposed chest. Once he got a picture he was satisfied with, Yira tossed a bag of clothes at me and ordered me to change immediately. His sudden shift in demeanor sent a wave of unease through me. As expected, Yira didn't take me home. Instead, he brought me to a shady-looking club. Yira, I don't feel comfortable. Can we go home first?
Don't worry. Do you even realize how valuable your appearance is here?
The door swung open. Music blared through the sweltering air, thick with the scent of flesh. Behind ornate masks, countless eyes devoured me, stripping away fabric, seeing only merchandise. Fear gripped me as I clutched my cloak tightly, looking at Yira with pleading eyes. But he ignored me, dragging me straight to the stage. Then, My worst fear came true. Yira yanked off my cloak, exposing the sheer leather dress beneath.
Here she is, Brianna, my proud little living doll. Look, Brianna, the men are going crazy for you.
No, they weren't obsessed with me. They were violating me with their ravenous stares. Disgust tightened my body as I clung to Yira, my only anchor. Yira, please take me away. Yira simply said,
Just stay here for a while.
before casually walking off the stage. I had been abandoned. At that moment, a female dancer approached me, her eyes filled with sympathy.
Don't bother begging that demon for help. Do you really think that just because he gave you a lavish life, you've become some noble lady?
I looked at Yira, impeccably dressed, a stark contrast to the vulgar women clinging to him and to me, nearly naked under the lights.
His ex-wife and now you. You're nothing but another one of his living dolls.
After that insane party, Yira and I went home together. But the dancer's words kept echoing in my mind. Tonight, I had to uncover the truth. I took Yira's phone into the bathroom. With a little trick, I managed to find his fingerprints smudged on the screen. After several attempts, I finally unlocked his phone. My heart pounded as I opened his photo gallery, digging through every hidden folder. Yira had always told me he hated his ex-wife, yet his phone was filled with intimate pictures of the two of them. And disturbingly, the more I scrolled, the more I realized I was starting to look exactly like her. I met Yira right after his wife left him, when he was on the verge of death from alcohol poisoning. I gave him warmth, comfort. He pulled me out of my dull existence as a mere nurse. I once thought we were each other's light, each other's salvation. What a joke. The truth had been laid bare. I refused to be Yira's lifeless doll any longer. It was time for me to take control of the game. From the moment we met, Yira had never touched me, not even once. So tonight, with a dose of aphrodisiac, I would turn him into my toy.
Brianna, what are you doing? What did you just inject into me?
Oh, my love. Ever since we've been together, you've never touched me. Do you really feel nothing for me?
No, I love you, but I've been hiding my bipolar disorder, so please, understand and don't do anything reckless.
I'm a nurse, Yira. Of course, I've seen your medical records. That's why I use just the right dose. Let me help you. Suddenly, Yira let out a scream of pain, making me flinch.
Damn it, get your hands off me!
I froze, my hands trembling as I felt something soft and lifeless beneath my touch. A chill ran down my spine. I sat up abruptly, staring at Yira in disbelief.
You wretched woman, you're just a toy in my hands. How dare you touch me without permission? Let me go or I'll kill you.
There was no pleasure in his expression, only pain and seething rage. And then, a horrifying thought struck me. Yira, your body already been destroyed by psychiatric meds and alcohol, hasn't it? You've lost your ability, haven't you? That's why you degrade your women, turn them into dolls, because that's the only way you can satisfy your pathetic excuse for masculinity.
Shut up, I'll freaking kill you.
I couldn't contain my fury any longer. I lunged at Yira, clawing at him, the man who had no strength left to fight back, writhing helplessly under the drug's torment. Suddenly, his body convulsed, his breath ragged, a heart attack. He trembled violently, then went still. And just like that, I was alone in the wreckage, consumed by the madness of destroying my monster.
The ballroom is alight with golden chandeliers, casting soft, flickering light upon the swirling figures below. My breath catches as I see them. Belle, her gown a flowing sea of yellow, and him, the creature I once loved. They twirl together, their movements synchronized in a way that speaks of trust, of affection. My chest tightens. How dare he? How dare they? I've been watching them for weeks now, hiding in the shadows of my own making. It is agony to see him care for her the way he once cared for me, to see that beastly face softened by her gaze. I was his first love, the one who would have stood by him through storms and fire, but that was before his heart betrayed me. I was beautiful once, so beautiful that my presence alone could silence a room. He adored me, his raven-haired enchantress, the woman who dared to love a prince despite the whispers and accusations. They said I had bewitched him, that no man of his stature could truly love a witch without some vile potion involved. His family believed them. I don't understand why they despise witches so much. Is it a crime to be born a witch?
Break it off, or you will lose your crown, your kingdom, your name.
He obeyed.
It's for the best,
He told me, his voice trembling. But his eyes betrayed him. He was a coward, too weak to fight for me. My heart shattered as he walked away, leaving me to the cruel world that had never accepted me. In my grief, I cursed him. I turned his handsome face into the hideous snout of a beast, his strong hands into claws. His castle became a prison, shrouded in mist and shadow, a reflection of the emptiness he had left in me. And the rose. Oh, the rose. A symbol of true love. When its final petal fell, he would remain a beast forever, unless someone could love him as I had once loved him. But I didn't leave the curse without hope. I thought he would return to me, crawling back on those beastly knees, begging for my forgiveness, for my love, to save him. He didn't. For years he hid away in his room, never stepping outside. I wasn't wrong when I called him a coward. As for me, I watched his kingdom crumble under the weight of his curse. His parents died of grief. Their once vibrant kingdom turned to ash. The castle servants, those loyal fools, became nothing more than objects, cursed to suffer alongside their master. I thought it was justice. And then she arrived. Belle. Sweet, naive Belle with her bright eyes and kind heart. She walked into that cursed castle and somehow began to undo the walls I had built around him. He looked at her the way he used to look at me, and it stung more than any blade ever could. I tried to stop it. I sent nightmares to Belle, twisted dreams where he devoured her whole. I transformed the rose garden into a labyrinth of thorns that tore at her delicate skin. I conjured illusions in her mirror, visions of her dying father begging her to return. But nothing worked. She stayed. Desperation drove me to Gaston, the arrogant hunter obsessed with making Belle his wife. She's been taken by the beast, I whispered into his ear. Save her, and she will love you. He was all too eager to believe me, with an army of fools at his side. He stormed the castle. The battle was brutal. I stayed in the shadows, my heart racing as Gaston drove his blade into the beast's chest. He fell, collapsing on the cold stone floor. Blood pooled around him as his breaths grew shallow. For a moment, I felt triumphant. He would die as the monster I had made him, unloved and alone. But then, something broke within me. He had once been mine. My love. My prince. I couldn't let him die, not like this. I stepped forward and kissed him, hoping to break the curse and save his life. "Come back to me," I pleaded, my voice cracking. "I'll forgive you. I'll save you. We can still have what we lost." He opened his eyes, but they were distant, unfocused.
Belle,
he whispered. My heart froze. Belle appeared, snatching the beast from my arms. She cradled his head in her lap and kissed him, her love pure and unwavering. The final petal of the rose fell, but instead of sealing his fate, it unleashed a golden light. I watched in horror as his monstrous form melted away, revealing the prince I once knew. He was human again. Beautiful. Whole. And it wasn't because of me. Rage consumed me. I raised my staff, aiming to curse Belle as I had cursed him. If I couldn't have him, neither could she. But as the spell left my lips, she stepped aside, and the curse struck the glass that encasing the rose behind her. The glass shattered. Before I could react, the magic rebounded, wrapping around me like chains. My skin twisted, my reflection morphing into something grotesque. Horns sprouted from my head, my hands became claws, and my face became the face of a monster. They left me there, alone in the ruins of the castle. He didn't look back. She didn't even flinch. Now I sit in this decaying ballroom, watching the dust settle over the remnants of my life. I am the beast now, trapped in the prison of my own making. They have their happy ending, but I am left with nothing but the echoes of a love that once was. And the worst part? I still love him.
What about this one? Have you ever cheated on your partner?
Too tame.
How about, have you ever loved your best friend's lover?
Have you ever had a secret affair with a married person? Have you ever been paid for
I didn't think it was a bad idea at first. The producer approached me at the cafe where I worked part-time, offering me a chance to win up to $500,000 on the game show, The Moment of Truth. The rules were simple. Answer every question truthfully while hooked up to a polygraph. Truth equals money. I needed that money. It was my only chance to escape the suffocating weight of debt, to finally open the salon I'd dreamed of, and leave behind the dark corners of my life. So I said yes. The casting was straightforward, or so it seemed. I sat in a sterile room, wires strapped to my arms, the cold polygraph machine humming softly beside me. The questions ranged from mundane to slightly invasive.
Do you like your appearance? Have you ever lied to get out of trouble? Would you take $250 from a stranger if they dropped it?
I told the truth, and the machine validated me. The producer nodded approvingly after each response.
You're a natural,
he said, flashing a toothy smile that didn't reach his eyes. I should have noticed the smirk behind the camera lens when they told me I was selected. The condition: my boyfriend Brian had to come on the show as a guest. The day of the taping, Brian and I arrived at the brightly lit studio. The set was extravagant, pulsating spotlights, a live audience, and at the center, a sleek stage with 2 chairs under a spotlight. The host, Beto, radiated charisma. His smile was sharp, his voice hypnotic.
Welcome, Ruth.
Beto greeted me as I sat down. His tone dripped with mock kindness, but I was too focused on the prize to care. The first few questions were a breeze.
Have you ever had a nose job?
Yes.
Do you think being pretty is more important than being kind?
Yes. The crowd chuckled as I answered truthfully, and the money started piling up. $10,000, $25,000, $100,000. But then the questions turned personal.
Would you forgive Brian if he cheated on you?
I hesitated for a moment, looked at Brian. Honestly, Brian was just a motorcycle driver. If he had a more stable job, I think our relationship would be different. Even though I felt guilty toward Brian, I needed more. No. Brian's face fell. I tried to stammer an explanation, but Beto pressed on, his smile widening.
Would you leave Brian if someone better came along?
The studio went silent. My heart pounded. I hesitated, then whispered, yes. Brian's knuckles whitened as he gripped the armrest. The audience gasped, and I felt the room closing in. I hope Brian will understand this situation. The questions kept coming, slicing deeper.
Do you really work at a call center?
No.
That's the truth. Do you work at a nightclub?
Yes.
That's the truth.
Brian's expression darkened with each revelation, but I kept going. I needed the money, but these questions made me uneasy. Surely they wouldn't ask about my real job, would they?
Have you ever accepted money for
The world seemed to tilt. My chest tightened and my thoughts spiraled in chaos. Should I tell the truth? Could I? I knew what this answer would mean, how it would follow me, how Peru, with its unforgiving gaze, would never see this with an open mind. The words clawed at my throat, desperate to escape, but fear anchored me in silence. Yes, I whispered. Just twice. We were desperate. The room fell deathly quiet. Brian looked like he'd been punched in the gut. The audience's shock was palpable. I reached $250,000, enough to change my life. But Beto leaned forward, his eyes glinting with malice.
Do you want to continue, Ruth? One more round and you could triple your winnings.
The audience roared for me to stop.
It's not worth it.
Someone shouted. My gaze darted to Brian, whose face was a mask of anger and betrayal. I could feel the weight of the crowd's judgment pressing down on me. Tears streamed down my face as I sank to my knees in front of Brian. I'm sorry. I just wanted a better life for us. Brian said nothing, his eyes cold. Beto's voice cut through the tension like a blade.
The truth is always illuminating. It will not do harm, even though it hurts.
A month later, the episode aired. It broke viewership records, but my life crumbled. Headlines branded me as Peru's worker. Strangers on the street sneered at me, and Brian left, calling me a disgrace. The prize money? It hadn't arrived. The producers claimed processing delays. Then, one evening, Brian called. His voice was icy.
We need to talk, now.
I met him in our dimly lit apartment. His anger simmered just beneath the surface.
You made me a joke. The whole world knows me as the guy who wasn't good enough for his girlfriend. They're calling me a green hat slave.
I didn't mean for this to happen. I just wanted to win.
Win?
He laughed bitterly.
You've ruined both of us.
He demanded a share of the prize money. When I told him it hadn't come, he exploded, grabbing me by the neck. The room flickered, the lights stuttering. His grip tightened, and I felt the air leave my lungs. Then, in the darkness, I heard it. A chilling laugh. Beto's laugh.
Thank you for playing, Ruth. Your truth was worth telling.
Where's the truth, Mr. Beto?
Produce more news and articles about the sex workers missing, and don't forget to mention the moment of truth.
I married him quickly. We met exactly 100 days ago. A whirlwind romance, passionate and intoxicating. Gabe swept me off my feet with candlelit dinners, spontaneous weekend getaways, and whispered promises under the moonlight. Then, one evening, he got down on one knee. I should have been hesitant. We barely knew each other. But when he slipped the ring onto my finger, I said yes without a second thought. Now, here we were, floating in the middle of the ocean on a luxurious private yacht, basking in the glow of our honeymoon. Just the two of us. Gabe poured another glass of wine, his fingers grazing mine as he handed it over.
To us.
I smiled and clinked my glass against his. We talked for hours, about dreams, childhood memories, random stories about life. His laughter was warm, his gaze full of love. Then, as the conversation lulled, he leaned in.
You know, we should talk about finances.
He said casually. I tilted my head. Why?
Well, we're married now. We should be open about everything, right?
That made sense. Couples should share everything. Bank accounts, properties, even insurance policies. Still, something about the way he asked made my stomach twist. He reached for my hand.
Do you have life insurance?
I hesitated, just for a second. Then, I answered. Of course I did. I had a sizable policy from my job. A good one. Gabe pulled out his phone and looked up insurance details. His thumb traced slow, deliberate circles on my wrist.
That's a wise choice. I'd hate for anything to happen to you.
I laughed nervously, brushing it off. Love is trust, right? That night, I expected our first night together as husband and wife to be passionate. But after dinner, after another glass of wine, my eyelids grew unbearably heavy. I barely remembered climbing into bed. The gentle rocking of the yacht should have lulled me into a peaceful sleep. But instead, I felt like I was sinking. I could hear Gabe's voice in my ear.
Sleep tight, my love.
Then, nothing. I woke up groggy. My limbs were heavy, my head foggy, as if I had run a marathon in my sleep. Gabe was already up, preparing the diving gear.
Good morning, sleepyhead. Are you ready for our first dive together?
I hesitated. I had never gone diving before. The thought of being deep underwater, where the surface was just a distant shimmer, made me uneasy. But Gabe was so excited, and I wanted to be the wife he deserved. I guess, I said, forcing a smile. He beamed.
Don't worry, I'll be right behind you.
There was no diving instructor. No one else on board. Just us. Don't we have a diving instructor?
I wanted this moment to be just ours.
That should have made me feel special. Instead, I felt a strange, creeping sense of unease. But love is trust, right? As I turned away to change into my wetsuit, I caught a glimpse of Gabe out of the corner of my eye. He was messing with the oxygen tank. I froze. What are you doing? He glanced up, his expression smooth, calm.
Your tank had a leak. I'm switching it out for another one.
I nodded slowly. It made sense, didn't it? Maybe I was just overthinking things. The moment we plunged into the water, all my fears melted away. The world below was breathtaking. Schools of fish swirled around us in shimmering clouds. Coral reefs stretched endlessly, swaying gently with the current. It was like an alien world, untouched, silent, beautiful. Gabe swam beside me, watching me with a smile behind his mask. For the first time since waking up, I felt safe. Then, without warning, he reached behind me and unfastened my oxygen tank. It took me a second to realize what had happened. One moment, I was breathing. The next, nothing. Panic surged through me. I clawed at my regulator, desperate to shove it back into my mouth. But my fingers fumbled. My lungs screamed for air. Gabe just hovered there, watching me. Waiting. He wasn't going to save me. He had been planning this. I lunged at him, grabbing his wetsuit, my nails digging into his arms, but he twisted away faster than me, stronger. I kicked, trying to chase him, but my body was slowing down. Oxygen deprivation. Black spots bloomed in my vision. My arms felt like lead. Gabe was swimming backward, watching me struggle. His eyes held no love, no regret, just cold detachment. Then, he turned and swam away, fading light. I reached out for him, my fingers grazing the water where he had been. I kicked, I thrashed, I tried to move toward the surface, but I was sinking. I should have waited longer. I should have taken my time, should have questioned the man who loved me too fast, too intensely. But love makes us blind. The sunlight above me grew fainter, more distant. Gabe was gone, and I was alone.
I never expected to be this close to tragedy, let alone share a room with the man at the center of it all, Luigi. His name is now burned into the annals of American true crime, a villain to some, a reluctant hero to others. But to me, he was just my hospital roommate, a young man consumed by pain, both physical and emotional, and crushed under the weight of a system that had failed him. It all began in that dull, sterile hospital room. We were both recovering, me from knee surgery, Luigi from a spinal operation meant to relieve his chronic back pain. Luigi was quiet, polite, but distant, as though speaking took more effort than he could muster. I often saw him with his nose buried in a book, Industrial Society and Its Future, the infamous 1995 manifesto by Ted Kaczynski. At first, I thought his retreat into himself was because of the pain, but it was more than that. One night, I caught him staring at the window, his jaw tight, his fist clenched. I asked if he was okay. His hollow eyes turned toward me, and for a long moment, he said nothing. Over time, he opened up. Luigi told me how he had once been a promising software engineer, a Silicon Valley prodigy. but chronic back pain had derailed his life. For years, he pushed through the agony, going from doctor to doctor, enduring treatment after treatment. When surgery became his last hope, he believed relief was finally within reach. That hope shattered when his insurance claim was denied. Luigi drained his savings to pay for the operation himself, but it brought little relief. The debt mounted, the pain persisted, and his future unraveled.
This isn't living. This is existing, and they even took that from me.
I remember nodding in shared frustration. I was no stranger to the system's indifference, but with Luigi, it was different. There was a darkness in him, a simmering anger that I didn't fully grasp until it was too late. 2 weeks after Luigi was discharged, the news broke. U-Health CEO killer unmasked. I stared at the TV in disbelief. The suspect? My Luigi, the same man who had offered me half his pudding cup when I couldn't stomach the hospital food. The details were horrifying. On the morning of December 4th, Luigi waited outside the New York Middletown, where Brian was attending an annual investor meeting. He wore a mask to conceal his identity and carried a 3D printed handgun fitted with 3D printed silencer. When he saw Brian, Luigi stepped closer. Witnesses reported hearing him shout,
Why did you deny me? Why did you deny all of us?
Then he fired. Brian collapsed outside the hotel's glass doors and Luigi disappeared into the chaos of Midtown Manhattan. The casings left behind were engraved with the words delay, deny, and depose. The nation was stunned. Authorities revealed Luigi had been staying at an Upper West Side inn under a false name. He carried forged IDs, a handwritten manifesto railing against the US healthcare system, and a loaded passport ready to flee. His fingerprints matched those found at the scene. Politicians condemned the act, offering condolences to Brian's family while sidestepping the healthcare debate. Social media, on the other hand, erupted. Some vilified Luigi, calling him a coward and a murderer. But others, many of them young, saw him as a tragic figure, a symbol of rebellion against corporate greed. Protests erupted across the country, with signs reading Free Luigi and Fix the System before it breaks more people. When Luigi's manifesto was leaked to the press, it struck a nerve. It was raw and angry, condemning the greed-driven system that exploits suffering for profit. One line read, I wasn't working with anyone. This was my decision, driven by the pain they ignored and the hope they stole. The backlash was immediate. Security budgets for corporate executives skyrocketed. CEOs hired private protection teams, their offices fortified. The healthcare industry found itself in the spotlight, forced to reckon with questions it had long avoided. Through it all, I couldn't stop thinking about Luigi. I remembered the glimmer of hope in his eyes when he talked about his dreams of writing software that could change the world. I remembered the bitterness in his voice when he spoke of a system that robbed him of that future. Luigi wasn't a hero, but he wasn't a monster either. He was a man broken by pain, betrayed by the institutions meant to help him. His actions were indefensible, yet they forced a nation to confront uncomfortable truths. When the police finally captured him in Pennsylvania, he struggled against the officers shouting at the cameras.
That's completely out of touch, an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
And I couldn't help but wonder, if someone, anyone, had truly listened to Luigi, would this tragedy have been avoided? Or was it inevitable, the final act of a man with nothing left to lose?
I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, hands clutching my throat like I was choking. It was just a dream. That's what I kept telling myself. But the pain in my neck felt real, like something had been stretched, like I had been hanged and survived. In the dream, my neck had stretched, impossibly long, like an eel gliding through the dark. I floated weightless, led by my own head through the night, past sliding doors and into the garden. That's where I saw them. My husband and a girl, no older than 20. She giggled at something he whispered. He brushed her cheek the way he used to brush mine, and then they kissed, bold and unashamed. Except I was there, or at least my head was. And when he noticed it, my face, my floating head, he screamed and swung his katana. A blur of silver flashed, and I woke up. I sat there, knees drawn to my chest, watching him sleep. His breath was slow, steady, undisturbed, like he hadn't just appeared in my nightmare with another woman. The image still burned behind my eyes. A nightmare, I told myself. A trick of the mind. But deep down, I knew better. That wasn't a dream, it was a warning. In the days that followed, I began to see it. The scent of strange incense on his robes, not the kind I burned for the altar or wore on my sleeves. It lingered, delicate and wrong. One evening, folding his inner kimono, I noticed a faint red smear along the collar. At first, I thought it was crushed plum blossom, but when I touched it, it smeared Benny, lip dye, the kind worn by young courtesans. He laughed when I asked.
Probably from the crowd by the river. Some drunk girl stumbled too close.
But I knew. No one touches a magistrate's robes, not by accident. When I confronted him, he smiled. Not with guilt, but with calm dismissal.
Your mind is too wild. You'll drive yourself mad with superstition. You'll make yourself sick.
Later, I overheard him whispering to his mother, saying I was losing my balance, that I might need rest. She pulled me aside in the garden days later, her hand cold on my wrist.
You mustn't let jealousy consume you. Wear your crimson kimono again. Put on makeup the way he used to like.
I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear my head from my shoulders and fling it at the wall. But I didn't. I bowed. I smiled. I poured tea like a good wife. And every night I dreamed of my neck growing longer, slithering through darkness, creeping toward truth. No one believed me. Not the other women at the market, not the shrine maiden I sought for advice. They all spun the same tale, that I was unstable, that I was unraveling. And he was the victim of a clingy, insecure wife. Then came the night. He was unusually tender. He brought me tea himself, said it was a calming blend from Kyoto.
For your nerves.
He smiled. I should have known. The taste was bitter, unfamiliar, but I drank it anyway, because I still wanted to believe him. I collapsed near the hallway, and from the corner of my fading vision, I saw him, standing over me, watching, then darkness. When I awoke, I couldn't move. My arms hung useless, my throat burned. From rope. He had strung me up from the ceiling beam. My body swayed gently, helplessly. I could hear him moving in the other room, opening jars, striking flint. The scent of lantern oil filled the air. He was setting the house on fire. The flames moved quickly, licking through the shoji walls, devouring everything we built. Smoke poured in, thick and choking. My lungs heaved, but the noose bit deeper. I should have died, but I didn't. Not yet. In that moment between fire and breath, I felt something rise in me. A pull, a pressure. My spine cracked, my throat expanded, my neck stretched. It didn't stop, longer and longer. Until my feet touched the floor again, though I still hung. Until the rope no longer choked me, only the memory of it. Drifting upward, my neck snaking through the fire like a silk banner of death. I slipped out of the burning frame, silent and weightless, into the cold night. Later, the neighbors whispered. They said they saw something rise from the fire. A woman's head, a twisting neck, a floating curse. They gave it a name, Rokurakubi. I became a breath beneath the door, a shadow above the futon, a nightmare woven into tatami. I whispered to unfaithful men. I curled my neck through their walls. I watched them shatter one by one. But the man I was looking for, he had vanished. Until that night, I found him in a new town, a new house, a new wife, pregnant. He still wore that smug, gentle face, the one he used when lying, when controlling. He had rebuilt his life. But I had not forgotten. That night, I slipped through the floorboards of their home. She lay asleep beside him, her belly full. He snored softly, unaware. I hovered above him, my neck stretched like a vine, my face inches from his. His eyes opened, and he screamed. He lunged for the katana beneath the futon, the same katana he once threatened me with in silence. He swung, steel met phantom flesh. My head fell to the tatami with a soft thud. Then it turned and smiled, because you cannot kill what you've already murdered. The woman stirred beside him.
What's happening?
My neck began to coil. Around his legs, his waist, his arms, his throat. It slithered tight and then it rotted. Flesh decayed on contact, black veins blooming beneath his skin. His body shuddered. The face on the floor, mine, began to crack. The eyes clouded, the skin peeled, the mouth opened. I looked at them both, his frozen terror, her rising scream, and whispered, I will always come back, because my neck still stretches, and the longer it grows, the closer I get, and you cannot escape your karma.